Structure of a trust-based agreement relies on three foundational pillars, and we're going to go into them. But instead of relying purely on a rigid legal text, these pillars transform into an agreement that is resilient and functions as a living partnership. And who doesn't want to have a trust-based agreement? Who doesn't want to be trustworthy? Who doesn't want to be loyal and also at the same time attract and resonate people who are also trustworthy and loyal, right? So if you're interested in that and you're in business, or you're even functioning as a leader or in a leadership position, then you really should pay attention to these three foundational pillars we're going to look at right now. The first one being aligned intent. Aligned intent. That is the foundation. Now, what does the aligned intent pillar focus on? It focuses on creating a shared vision between both parties. It ensures that no hidden agendas exist to undermine the partnership later. So first, to achieve this particular foundational pillar, you're going to need open long-term goals. So both sides will clearly share what they ultimately want to achieve from this relationship. What is your long-term goal? So that is how aligned intent comes in. Open long-term goals. Both of you are willing to share that ultimately, with this business transaction, I want to shut down Lagos. I want to be a big girl. You know that person doesn't have a long-term goals. They are here for a good time and a short time. Is that the person you will now go and do aligned interest and give long-term goals, and all the money that is supposed to go for 10 years will go as one celebrity's weekend wedding? So the next aspect of aligned intent is also looking at transparent motivations. When everybody understands why the other party is at the table, it eliminates suspicions. Are you not better with somebody that tells you that I want to shut down Lagos? That's someone that doesn't share that, then goes to go and use the money to shut down Lagos and runs away. Yeah, we're laughing, but it's true. And then, of course, the third thing is mutual success definition. What does success mean and look like to you? When success is defined together, it ensures that one party cannot win while the other party loses. Still going back to the psychological contract of what is fair, right? So with aligned interests, you mutually define what success is for me. So when you mutually define success, you look at your long-term goals and you have your transparent motivations, you have aligned intent. With that, it builds the foundation of a trust-based agreement. So let's move to the next pillar, which is the framework, relational governance. The relational governance pillar focuses on active, ongoing communication. It prioritizes human interaction over formal contractual enforcement to solve everyday problems. What does that mean? Even though we have our formal contract and we need to enforce it, we're having ongoing communication and we are prioritizing our interaction with each other. Number one, regular alignment check-ins. Proactive meetings are scheduled to discuss relationship health, not just project metrics. If you do not have a relational governance wherein you are prioritizing human interaction and you have the regular check-in to discuss the relationship health, how do you build trust and loyalty? Another thing to look at is also early warning systems. This also still falls under the relational governance, which is your framework pillar. Early warning systems. Both parties can agree to flag mistakes or bottlenecks immediately without fear of immediate penalty. So immediately I'm able to flag mistakes and I can go back to the drawing board as a producer and adjust, but still follow up with that client. And the last one is collaborative dispute resolution, which is the third thing you need for you to build that relational governance. You need a clear process. You need to establish a clear process where you can talk through disagreements face to face before involving legal teams. Remember that we're looking at the architecture of a trust-based agreement. So you can see with this second framework that we go beyond just signing the contract now. We're now looking at the agreement is a living and breathing thing till all parties have their responsibilities carried out, their covenants fulfilled, and it lapses. So as such, even as things are ongoing, your agreement is still ongoing. So it's important for you during that time to have the relational governance with the regular alignment check-ins, your early warning systems, and your collaborative disputes. So let's look at the third pillar, your safeguard, which is your fair risk distribution. Fair risk distribution, the safeguard pillar. This focuses on balancing the shared burden of the agreement. It ensures that the partnership remains fair and viable even during market shifts or unexpected crises. So balanced risk sharing will be the first thing you're going to do under this particular pillar. And what does that mean? It means that neither party is forced to absorb all the potential liabilities or operational dangers alone. That basically goes against what we call what is fair. If one person is bearing all the potential liabilities or operational dangers without any form of financial compensation that has already been previously agreed in the agreement, that's not fair. So you need to make sure when you're doing an agreement, you have this safeguard in place where both parties balance the risk that they are sharing. Is that clear? Okay, the next point is proportional reward distribution, meaning financial gains or strategic benefits are split fairly based on each party's contribution. And then the third thing is crisis accommodation. The agreement includes room to renegotiate terms if external or unpredictable forces heavily impact one side. This is very, very key, very vital, and very powerful architecture that we've received today from God and also from Prof. So we thank God for this, because this, if you are in business, I'm sure you agree with me that this is powerful. Anyway, we've looked at your safeguards: balanced risk sharing, proportional reward distribution, and crisis accommodation. What does this mean? If you're working with an organization that is under a parent company or a holding company, if that organization begins to experience crisis with their parent company, are you just going to abandon them? Are you just going to abandon them? What's the definition of loyalty that we looked at? So how are you going to accommodate that? Remember, when we started talking about these three pillars, when we talked about aligned intent, which is our foundational pillars, one of the things is you need to know the other party's motivation. When you're knowing their motivation, you would have figured out that, oh, this is a subsidiary company, which means if anything happens to their parent company, it might likely affect them. So you have to accommodate a likely crisis, which gives them which gives the other party room to say, okay, our parent company they're not the ones here, but we are the people signing with you, but these are the challenges they're going through. This is how it's affecting our distribution line. Let's renegotiate. But because you accommodated that, you're not left hanging. It is well. So let's look at the risk of ignoring the core. What does that mean? When agreements focus purely on the legal mechanics while ignoring trust and loyalty, which is the core of human relationships and systems, they become highly fragile. When you ignore trust and loyalty and just focus on the legal mechanics, agreements become highly fragile. We have the malicious compliance trap, where parties do exactly what the contract says to the letter, even if it hurts the project's overall outcomes. We've seen cases of this. I don't want to begin to list so many things, but yes, malicious compliance is a way with which some people even cause more damage than good.